Just a reminder, you have to multiply the molar masses of each individual atom before you add them together. So if we have 3 O's, each O has to be multiplied. You need to multiply the mass, which is 16 times 3. And then for H's, since you have 3 H's, you have to do 3 times 1.01. Then you add them all together and you get the molar mass of AlOH3. Again, this is how you get the molar mass of AlOH3. So why did we practice using those? Why did we practice, you know, adding molar masses up and like that? Why did we do that? We did that because we need them for conversions. Okay. So for example, if we do this example, it says, how many grams are in 1.25 moles of water? Okay, how many grams are in 1.25 moles of water? First of all, what you need to realize is this is where we're going to finish. This is the end product. So basically at the end, they want us to figure out the grams of something. Okay, where are we starting? We are starting with 1.25 moles. We start with 1.25 moles. 1.25 moles. This is what we start with. Now, using the chart. This is the chart, by the way. This chart is the one that I asked you to have copied out, printed out, whatever. We are starting with 1.25 moles. 1.25 moles. That means that we're starting here. We're starting right here. They want us to figure out how many grams. Okay, if you look, this one says mass, this one says particles. Nothing says grams. Grams is actually mass. Mass is always calculated in grams. Again, mass is grams. Mass is grams. So we are starting in moles. We are moving to grams. We are following the arrow that's pointing from moles down to mass, meaning we are using the fraction at the top. Molar mass over 1 mole. Molar mass over 1 mole. So basically what we have here is we're multiplying the molar mass time over 1 mole. Molar mass over 1 mole. That's the fraction that I got from the chart. And that's the fraction that's going to give us our answer in grams. Now you might ask, okay, but then what's the molar mass? You don't have a number there. You need a number there. What number will you put there? Molar mass, like I said before, is the mass of the molecule that they're asking you to find. This is a molar mass of AlOH3. So you need to find the molar mass of this, of water. Now, you might ask, well, that's not a formula, though. You guys can figure out the formula of water. And I think all of us have known the formula of water, I think, since we were, middle schoolers. What is the formula for water? Anybody know the formula for water? H2O. Yep, H2O. We need to find the mass of 2 H's and the mass of 1 O. We need to use our periodic table. What is the mass of hydrogen? What is the mass of hydrogen?
1.01.
And we have 2 hydrogen. What is the mass of oxygen?
16.00.
So 1.01 times 2 is 2.02. 2.02 plus 16 gives us 18.02. So the molar mass that goes up here is 18.02 grams. And like I said, molar mass is always in grams. I can cross out moles here because that unit is the same across. When you have the same, something like across, you can cancel it out. What do I do now? I multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. So 1.25 times 18.02 divided by 1. 22.525 or 22.53 grams. Questions? Okay. Now, let's do another problem. I'm going to say right now, this is the hardest type of problem you will get. Again, this is the most difficult type of problem you are going to face in this section. This is as hard as it's going to get. How many molecules? So this is where we finish. And every question on the quiz will be started like this. So you will know that the third word in the problem, again, the third word in the problem is asking you where you're going, is telling you where you're going to finish. How many molecules are in 25.5 grams? This is where we're going to start. 25.5 grams. We're going to start there. Okay. So we are starting with 25.5 grams. And they want us to finish in molecules. Let's take a look at this. We are starting with grams. Like I said before, one of these is grams. It's either going to be mass, moles, or particles. Which one of these is grams? Mass, moles, or particles?
Mass.
Mass, exactly. Mass is grams. Then they want us to go to molecules. They're asking us how many molecules. Just an FYI, molecules and particles are the same thing. So we're starting in mass, we're starting in the brown. Where are we going to finish? Are we going to finish in moles or are we going to finish in particles?
Particles.
Exactly, we're going to finish in particles. So, as you can see, there is no straight connection between the brown and the blue. There's no straight line that leads you from mass to particles. Nothing goes straight from mass to particles. However, you can go from mass to moles and then from moles to particles. Again, you can go from mass to moles and moles to particles, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Meaning, this is a two-step problem. We're going to use the fraction at the bottom first. This is the first fraction we're going to use. We're going to do 1 mole over the molar mass. And then we're going to do a second fraction. Because once we're in moles, then we're going to use the fraction that's pointing downwards to particles, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23 over 1 moles. 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules over 1 mole. Before we do the math, again, before we do the math, what we need to do is we need to figure out this molar mass. What molar mass are we calculating? The one that they're giving, the molecules that they're telling us in the problem. What molecules are we using, guys? What atoms are we going to calculate the molar mass for? What do you think? NaCl, correct. So we are going to calculate the mass of Na and Cl. For time purposes, I'm going to give you these. They're in the periodic table. Again, they are in the periodic table. Na is 23.00. Cl is 35.45. This is 0.45. This is 8. This is 5. Oops, I can't add. So the molar mass is 58.45 grams. Grams crosses out, moles crosses out because they're both across from each other. So, you're again, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. You're going to get a number. That number, again, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom one more time. So how would you put this in your calculator? You're going to do the following. 25.5 times 1 divided by the molar mass, which is 58.45. That's what's at the bottom of the fraction, equals that. So that's your first number. That's from your first fraction. You're going to multiply that number times your particle, 6.02 e to the 23rd equals, and then you're going to divide that by 1. And you should get a number. 2.62634, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to do 2.63. And don't forget, e to the 23 means times 10 to the 23. So your answer needs to have that times 10 to the 23 and then your unit, molecules. Oh, Penny. Questions? All right, I want you guys to work, and then by the way, like I said, this is as difficult as it's gonna get. This is as difficult as it's going to get. I want you guys to try this one. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes. Try this one by yourselves, please. All right, guys, let's get to work. How many moles are in 25.5 grams of NaCl? How many moles, this is where we're going to finish, are in 25.5 grams of NaCl? This is where we're going to start. We're going to start with 25.5 grams of NaCl. Oops. Just we don't have to write the NaCl, by the way, we just write 25.5 grams. So let's take a look here. If we are starting with grams, what circle are we starting at? Are we starting in mass, moles, or particles?
Mass.
Mass, yep, we are starting in mass. And they're asking us how many moles, so we are going to finish in moles, obviously. So we're going upwards. We're going from mass to mole, upwards. That means that we're using the bottom fraction. 1 mole over molar mass. One mole over molar mass. The molar mass we are using right here, meaning we need to add Na and Cl together. Remember, we did this in the previous problem. Na is 23, Cl is 35.45. If you don't know where those numbers come from, they come from the periodic table. The molar mass is the numbers with decimals at the bottom of the square. Together, 58.45. .45 grams. Grams crosses out. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. 25.5 times 1 divided by, it's 58.45 equals 0.436 or 0.44. And that's moles. Questions? Questions? All right. One by yourselves. I want you guys to try this one by yourselves. I'm going to give you about 6 minutes here, okay? 6 All right, we ready? How many grams is a sample of 2.75 times 10 to the 24 molecules of SrCl2? 2.75 grams. This is where we finish. Molecules, this is where we start. We are starting with 2.75 times 10 to the 24 molecules. We're starting there. Molecules. Which one would be molecules? Would mass be molecules? Moles be molecules? Or particles be molecules? Which one would be molecules?
Particles.
Particles. Okay, so we're starting at particles. We're starting here. We are finishing in grams. We are finishing in grams. Which one is grams? Is mole grams or is mass grams?
Mass.
Okay, so we're going from blue to brown. We're going from blue to brown. There is no straight path from blue to brown. What we need to do is go from particles to moles and then moles to mass. Again, we need to go from particles to moles, moles to mass. So we are using the top fractions. We are using this top fraction first, 1 mole over 6.02 times 10 to the 23 molecules. And then we're moving from moles to mass. Then we're using this other top fraction, which is molar mass over 1 mole. We have all the numbers except one, which is the molar mass. We don't have molar mass, so we need to calculate molar mass. What molar mass are we calculating? What's the molecule we're calculating for? Oh, I keep breaking up. I'm sorry, Leona. Oh, crap. I have to reset my Wi-Fi after this. See if hopefully it doesn't happen in 7th period. What is the molar mass? What is the molar mass that we are calculating? Anybody know? Let's see. What is the molar mass we are calculating? What's our what molecule are we calculating for?
SR and Cl.
Yep, SR and Cl. So we are doing SR and then 2 CLs. Just for time purposes, I'm going to give this to you. SR is 87.62. CL is 35.45, and we're doing it times 2. So that is 70.90 plus 87.62. That's 258. 8 plus 7 is 15. 158.52. Oops. $158.52 grams. And that's always in grams. So we are crossing out molecules, we're crossing out moles and moles. we're going to multiply by the top, divide by the bottom, multiply by the top, divide by the bottom. So in your calculator, 2.75 e to the 24 times 1 divided by 6.02 e to the 23 equals times the molar mass 158.52 equals divided by 1. So again, it's multiply once you, every time you just keep going divide times 1 divided by whatever or times whatever, and so on and so forth until you get your answer, which is 724.13 because we're going to round to 2 decimal places, grams. Okay, you need to write your unit. Any questions? Questions? All right, we're going to do more of these examples tomorrow. We're going to do more of these examples on Friday. I mean, sorry, on